Okay, so now we're going to put the back door on. Alright, so I rotated this guy here so it covers it so you can't lift the door back out. So next step should be battery, and then figure out the battery cables after that, but we can even check here. Double check all our clearances. Alright, so one thing I did notice is that when this goes on, this is like barely clearing this fuel pressure regulator. So what I'm going to need to do is loosen all this, move it to the other side. And then the other thing I don't know is I have a full-size car battery. It's going to be really, really close to hitting back here. So let's fix this first, and then I'll see about that. I may end up having to use like a regular lawnmower style battery, which would be great because it's way cheaper than my full-size battery that I had used with the old motor. So let's fix that item real quick. All right, so I just put another zip tie down here to keep this so it stays nice and snug on top of there. Now it clears fine. Got about 1/4 inch. So if you do this, no matter your fuel pump, keep it as close inside as you can. I forgot that door slid in that much. So now then, time for this to see if the battery will fit or not. Nope, the battery hits. So the battery's too tall. It's hitting the bottom of that motor. So I'm going to see if I have like a little lawnmower battery laying around I can maybe use, or something not quite as beefy as this guy. All right, so I got to get a smaller battery, or I'm going to redo the whole battery tray. But I think just getting a smaller lawnmower battery will work just fine for this thing, since it's a lawnmower engine basically. But now I just got everything kind of temporarily hooked up to this battery. Now that everything's plugged in, and let's see if we can fire it up. And let's make sure, check all our cable connections and all that jazz. All right, so let's see here. There's power on. Here comes the fuel pump. Okay, that'll be a starter. Okay, probably got to choke it. So let's do a little choke action. Okay, let's try the light. Yep, the light works. Alright, so I picked up a smaller lawnmower sized battery, and unfortunately even this guy right here, it kind of hits right here, right at the H on the OHV. So it's still a little too tall, and I don't want to have to use custom batteries or one of those real expensive jobs. So it looks like what I'm going to need to do is get this battery tray here, and it looks like it's just got a couple welds on each side. Cut that off, and then just slide the whole thing down as far as it'll go over here. And doing some rough measurements, it looks like doing that will give me the clearance that's needed. So I think that's going to be the best route. I tried smocking it up going the other direction, but then it's going to be really tight over here, and this is going to be close to the exhaust manifold and all the extra heat going right on the battery. I'd rather move it to the other side. And since this is a lighter weight than the original, it's not a big deal if it sits out here. It'll sit on this pin anyway most of the time. So I'm going to take the door off and get to work on that. All right, so now I'm going to shine up the metal a little bit. All right, so I got no clue if this will actually work or not. I've never tried cutting through painted metal with a plasma cutter, but I have my neighbors that have loaned me. So let's try it and just see if it'll happen to go through. If not, the little pilot lights seem to work to knock some of the gunk off. So my camera shut off out in the wind because I'm in the Phoenix Valley and it's like 110 outside. I'm in my barn with just a swamp cooler. So obviously you can't take it too good. So I did some more cut and stitch and it's pretty well loose now. I think I can just kind of rock it out now. It's got a tiny bit hanging somewhere or the other. So I don't even see where. Probably grab a little pry bar. It's getting looser. Oh, there it goes. There we go. That was easier than dicking with it, or for lack of a better word, and trying to salvage all that. So now I guess what I need to do is, now that these are out, I can grind them down a little bit more. I can probably get a little bit better spot here. And use the plasma torch maybe from the side, just kind of knock off the majority of that. And then we'll find a new spot, new home for our battery tray and clean it up so that we can weld it. You can see it's pretty yucky. I have to just clean it out, I don't really care. I mean, clean that up, let's clean those spots up. Keep it about the same level as where it was, get as far over here as I can pretty much. I can still get a bolt through for a strap, and then re-weld it in. So that's the plan. Alright, so I did a mock test and it seems like it'll fit fine. So now it's time to start cleaning everything up. I'll wake you up. Alright, so now then, since it's going to go basically almost butt up against it, now let's use like one of those little hook things to attach. Now just kind of follow the existing thing. That looks pretty good right about there. So now I'm going to mark it. That's perfect. Now it's time to get the welder out. Alright, we'll put some ugly tacks on, see how it does. All right, let's see here. All right, so obviously not my best work, but it seems pretty solid. So now I'm going to try mounting it back in the Bobcat and see how it fits before I finish welding it. All right, so I did a test fit and it clears. Hooray! So it's time to put a little more weld on here. Now it should just be a matter of letting it cool off. Hit it with a wire brush. Throw a little bit of paint on it. And then it should be ready to finally go in and stay in. Okay, that looks good. All right, now comes the battery. A little battery in there now. It's always a pain on this thing. We gotta get the angle just right. Okay. And now let me see here if we can get in there with the camera. Kind of hard to tell. You can see the batteries in there now. And you may actually get more clearance than it looks. We got about ½ inch. Still pretty tight. Now we got to figure out the how to run all the battery cables. So that's where we're at next. Let's figure that out. Alright, so I got the battery finally mounted. It's kind of made a temporary kind of ghetto mount for now. I'll order a nicer one, get my cables run. So should be ready to close the door. Let's see what, double check clearances for a third time. Okay, we're locked in. Loads of clearance. So it'll be good now to fire it up.